I figured there was no better thing to end on than obviously with what's been going on. Now, we're not here to specifically talk about what's going on in terms of the riots, in terms of what happened to George Floyd and what's happened to other protesters and other things. If you want to go see that stuff, there is literally every other place on the face of the internet right now that you can do that. But what I wanted to do is tie this to gaming. And obviously, when we've talked on this podcast several times about whether it's when it comes to things like censorship and stuff like that. I really want to hammer something down that I don't understand and that still is a thing in games. And this comes to, obviously, us as a community. And my question that I pose, and this is not to you guys necessarily, it's just to anybody listening and really anybody in the gaming community that would ever hear this. I don't understand. So why is there a problem with women? Why is there a problem with people of color? Why is there a problem with gay, transsexual, bisexual, pansexual, whatever? What's the problem with them being in our group? Like, we're not talking people that are assholes. We're not talking about people that want to censor the things that you love. I'm just talking, what's the problem with playing Call of Duty and a girl coming into the voice chat? Because every time, and I don't do this anymore because I have so many friends that I can just jump into a party and not have to worry about that shit. But in a public forum, why is it so hard for people to accept that people that aren't them is going to jump into this game?
So, I like for example, like I follow a few cosplayers on Instagram because I've met them. They're really cool people and they're gorgeous. And they've been doing a lot of postings lately about minority cosplayers, like people who are black cosplaying as traditionally white characters.
Man, it's one of my most popular videos on my channel, and I didn't expect anything to bump up like that. But yeah, it's just, what's the issue?
A lot of people are bitching that it's like, why are you dressing up as Wonder Woman? Why are you dressing as Superman? Why are you dressing up as Batman? Like, my one buddy, he's who is Portuguese, who's very painfully culturally ignorant. And I have mentioned it to him, like straight up mentioned it to him. Like in Fan Expo last year, I came as Punisher. And he was just joking, but it was only, I know him. I know it's a half joke. He said, hey, why did you dress up as Aladdin? Punisher's not brown.
Well, but even then, the joke is not funny to begin with.
Yeah.
No.
And it's like,
I wouldn't be happy with it.
It was actually, I saw a really nice picture on social media one time where this uncle took his nephew who dressed up as Elsa to the for Halloween. And he said something very nice. He was like, Halloween and playing and cosplaying is about being your favorite character. His favorite character is Elsa. What's the big fucking deal?
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like, I like, don't get me wrong, in the movies and the portrayal of the characters, the iconic ones, I don't think you should change them. There's no reason to make Superman black. There's no reason to make Batman black. They have been like that for generations, and there's no reason to change that.
But then when you talk about, like, what's the problem with a new character being introduced who's black or gay or whatever? Because every time that happens too, people lose their shit, and it's like, guys, it's new. Like, what the fuck?
I will tell you exactly why.
Because they're racist, sexist, misogynistic, homophobic.
No. Yes, and no.
Correct.
Yes and no. There's a simple phrase. When you're used to privilege and entitlement, equality looks like oppression. So when they are seeing characters who are not the traditional, for those who don't know, I'm a brown Indian man. For the ones who are not used to a traditional white, blonde hair, blue-eyed character, they feel like, why is this being forced upon us? Why are they doing this? Why is this there?
And the adorable part is, like, it's not being forced on you. You can stop doing it whenever you want.
The fact is, the reason they're asking why this is happening is the reason it's happening.
Yeah. It's in the simplest thing. It's like I said, it's one thing to take a character that has been around forever and just suddenly be like, oh, by the way, it's that person's a different race or a different gender or a different, like, sexuality now. It's like, no, this stuff's canon, leave it alone. It's like, there's the greatest example, or one of the greatest examples, is Miles Morales. Fucking Spider-Man.
It's a completely different Spider-Man.
And people love him too because you give him a chance, and also you get people that can fucking write because sometimes they make new characters and they're shit. I mean, look at fucking look at the what's that stupid thing Marvel came up with recently? The new heroes, like the safe space and snowflake things.
Oh God!
Like there's stuff like that where it's like, okay, no, you're not helping. When it's bad writing, it's bad writing.
That was intentionally like insulting.
Like you knew that it was bad writing because neither side liked it, because the SJWs hated it and the anti-SJWs hated it. So
yeah,
but like going all the way back to just about race, it's just like, what's the problem? Like it actually works in the opposite way too. Like Overwatch community members used to get mad if like they were saying every time a new character was, they'd all say, I hope it's not another white male. It's like, again, who gives a fuck? It's art. Which, by the way, people seem to forget. Gaming is art. Do we ever question a painting for having... are we going to question that the Mona Lisa is not a black woman? We don't.
Yeah.
But why can we question a game? And I can tell you why. It's because the majority of the mainstream or the general public, they feel like gaming is just this kids thing still. So it's easily moldable.
Yeah.
I know enough dumbass people who are like, "Oh, video games are for kids." I'm like, "Are you?"
They are, but they're also for people that are teenagers or adults.
I'll actually disagree with you on this because.
How are you going to disagree with me on this?
Because here's why. Because the OG gamers. We're not kids anymore. That's
Fish. I'm not saying it's just for kids. I'm saying it is for kids and also everybody else.
But but these people, the ones who are that ignorant, are assuming that gaming is just for kids.
Yes. And they're technically right and also wrong.
I would say they're mostly wrong because there's more. I feel there is more high-profile M-rated games coming out than E-games.
Again, that doesn't change anything.
There's games for everybody.
That's the whole point here. That's the whole point of this conversation is anybody should be able to play a game. Anybody should be able to be in a game. Yeah. So the whole conversation just goes back to, and there's a guy on YouTube that I watch, and if you guys are able to want to go and listen to political stuff because that's what he is. His name is Vaush, Vaush, and this guy is very. This guy is very, very, very chill. Like, he's not extreme. He's not anything crazy. And he made a great comment because it was... I can't remember specifically what video it was that he said this. But he said to gamers... So... Oh, yeah, it was... do you guys know about the one girl that's part of a Twitch safety council that got criticized because she was also weird because she thinks she's a deer?
I don't know this girl.
Oh my God.
I'm sure Chris might have heard this. I know Vish probably hasn't because he doesn't go that deep into the gaming stuff.
I didn't go deep. She just showed up on my Twitter feed one day.
Yeah. So I think it was on a video about her, but he basically just said, because she at one point said that, there's a lot of white supremacists who play games. And that's true. There are a lot of people out there that are white supremacists who probably play games. And... He said, and this is specifically just directed at you, like, exactly the kind of people that are like what? Girl? Is that a girl? Girl? Go make me a sandwich. Like those kind of people.
Yeah, and they're in Call of Duty.
Yeah. And he said the best thing. He's like, guys, don't you want big titty goth girls to also play the things that you really like so you have something to talk about? AKA get closer to her and maybe somehow into her pants?
Yes, please.
Like,
like find somebody you actually connect with.
If you open the door for people, you might find more friends and not be alone all the time. Maybe find a girl you like or a guy. Who cares? Like, you be whatever you want to be whatever you want to be into. You might find some cool people. But if your initial reaction is, you're not exactly like me, so get the fuck out, go to hell. You're the reason why we don't have nice things. You're the reason that Fox News or every other conservative publication likes to treat us like we're a fucking, like, cancer, that we cause violence, that we are actually the bane of the existence, and we're the real reason the country's going to shit, not because of every goddamn other thing.
So this reminds me of a social experiment that I saw done in Germany. This was very interesting and very eye-opening. They removed this grocery store removed every single international product from their grocery store. The store was basically 90% empty.
Yeah. People really don't understand like how much it actually means to have everybody together. And it's one thing to say like, okay, we're never going to all be together politically. We're never going to all be together in terms of liking each other, because it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter what you're into in terms of your sexuality. We all got our assholes. So there are always going to be people out there that you can't fucking stand. But it's
assholes.
It's the idea that apparently there's a large chunk of the gaming population that can't even be open to the potential of letting other people in because they're afraid that it's going to destroy what they like. And the reality is most of the people that you're afraid of don't give enough of a shit about games to actually do any damage.
Yep.
And the thing is I think even just the three of us, but most people who get into gaming, and I mean get into gaming where they're playing online a certain amount of time per week, or they consider it a hobby. If they was like, list out your hobbies and one of them is gaming, most of those people got into gaming because maybe they were a nerd and they didn't have anybody, or they were, an awkward 12-year-old and didn't know
somebody else introduced you to stuff.
Yeah, or they finally made a friend and this was something they bonded over. A lot of people turn to gaming, especially online, because it's like it's a way of connecting with people, whether it's joining a community or just playing games online. And I've met people online just through gaming and stuff, and I speak to them once every couple weeks and everything on Steam and whatnot. But like, even when I was a kid, this is the reason I got into gaming, is because of this. And imagine the fact that there are people trying to not let people in, or trying to be mean to people because they're different or whatever as they're coming in. Imagine that was you. Imagine being when you were first getting into gaming, you were 12. Imagine now trying to you're 12, and I'm assuming you'd be going on Fortnite, and that's how you're making some of your friends. It's by playing Fortnite. Now imagine how vulnerable it is to be that, and then you go, and as soon as you get there, you're rejected. People who've never met you are basing it based on your sexuality, your gender, the way you look, your race, the sound of your voice, your hair color. Who even fucking cares? And you get rejected. It's already such a vulnerable set of people sometimes that are going into this community specifically, that to hold anybody back, and you should never do it anywhere, but even just, it shocks me that gamers who are already people who are so vulnerable to begin with could act like this towards other people trying to join. It's like, yo, fucker, do you not remember when you were vulnerable and playing Fortnite or playing Sega Genesis or whatever for the first time, and you finally made that one friend, and how hard that was? And look how difficult you're making it for other people to do what you were able to get through. You are being the complete opposite of the person that let you in to this community.
And I mean, you take the idea of just more people getting in. Like, look what's happened. Like, how much has gaming grown since we were playing as kids? Look at where we are.
Dude, it went from a casual hobby to a multi-billion-dollar industry, to the point it's bigger than music and movies combined.
It's
fucking including the MCU.
Gamers, this isn't that complicated. Do you understand that because so much more of us are playing games, that we have multiple consoles, all these different genres of games that we never would have had before, all these options with independent developers and AAA developers, all this other stuff, all this revolutionary stuff.
In a few years, video games are going to become a respected art form. It's like
a respected art form. We finally got that, and then people are denying it because they still want to control it to be what they want.
But
that's
not
the fucking art.
Problem. The fact that people are denying it means it's still not respected the capacity it should be.
Officially to the Supreme Court, it is listed as it is treated as an art form now under the Code of Law. That is what we fought for 30 plus years. We got that. It's one thing, like, that means that they can never take that away from us. And I don't even care what Fox News, I don't care what politicians say about it. They can go in their little
Fox
shitty
News
bubbles.
can go suck a dick.
They can go to their fucking little bubbles and just hide away there, and they can stay in their own little shit. I don't give a fuck.
Okay,
but it's when gamers themselves, please let me finish. When gamers
Okay, I'm sorry.
go out there and fight the same shit that we are criticizing others for doing and making it seem like they're in the right now, it's like you are the reason that all of a sudden, like, if it wasn't for you guys, here's a great thing. Anti-SJWs or gamers, like, you know exactly which ones you are. You are the reason Anita Sarkeesian exists. You are the reason Zoe Quinn exists. These guys might know who I'm talking about, but you, the people who know this shit, you're the reason that it happens. Because if you couldn't just be fucking nice to any girl that shows up on a game, whether it's Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Halo, whatever, we wouldn't have these people coming in to this industry who actually don't really care about it much and trying to make it safer for people. Because what they're really doing is molding it and trying to make a buck off of other people suffering because you guys can't shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. That's the reality. The reason that everything is going on out in the world is a whole other conversation, but the core of it is, in terms of the gaming community, is the same. It's because you guys can't fucking leave things alone and let other people enjoy shit too. You can't let people just enjoy stuff and be alive. That's your problem. There are a lot of things in this industry I hate, but I would never dare to make somebody's life miserable because of it. I hate Anita Sarkeesian with every ounce of fiber in my fucking being. I would never send her a death threat. I would never go to this woman's face and punch her or do any sort of verbal or physical assault to her because that's a stupid thing to do. And the fact that people like you guys will do that shit is the reason that every mainstream outlet thinks we're garbage, that every person who is not in our community thinks we're garbage, because we look like garbage on the outside because we can't look fucking presentable ever.
Yeah, you've nailed it, man. Like I really just, yeah, it's just like, and like what I'm saying, like with I was talking to one of my coworkers. I'm new at my job, and me and him were talking about video games. I was talking about EGLX, and I was telling him, like, yeah, we were there last year. The year before, it was actually pretty small, and last year they doubled it, and
it was like fucking night and day. Holy shit, it was amazing.
Yeah, and we just ended up talking because we both had to do long drives this week, and I was talking about like Nitro Brew coffee, like when they had it at EGLX last year.
Yeah, that cold brew stuff that was there.
Yeah, me and Chris were basically high off caffeine. For
yeah, you were
half the day,
yeah,
and then
nearly died. I was smelling colors. I could hear them.
I could hear the colors. I could smell the sounds. It was.
I hear your true colors.
Maybe 2 energy drinks and 3 micro.
And this is he's a super cool guy, and he's a father of 3, and he's younger than us. Like not that much younger. Like he's like maybe 1 or 2 years older than Chris, younger than Chris and I. But it's just like, listen, those fucking nerdy kids who loved video games, we're grown up, and guess what? We still fucking love games.
It's just the problem is that we also turn into spoiled man children.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing for us to argue about what bullshit EA is doing this week. It's one thing to argue about a character who used to be like this overly sexualized, like sex appeal crazy character like Lara Croft, and they suddenly just destroyed it. Or in Mortal Kombat now, where the new outfits basically just hit everything, even though all the guys are still shirtless. Like, there's some things that you can criticize, but like when it comes down to,
in all fairness, I like new Lara Croft better than
but it's still the idea of like you took something that was iconic for so long and just changed it. Like they could have just been like, here's like Lara's daughter, like, or something like that. It's still an option.
I think what they did is actually better.
Okay, we're not here to argue about like the actual like stuff about it. It's because again, this is a whole like better conversation we have to be having here. But like again, it's one thing to argue stuff like that because it's not changing anything that's like super imperative. Like there are things that are just like subjectively, like people might like things certain better. But from a standpoint of just allowing people in, I don't understand why we like people think it's just okay to argue about why does this character have to be black? It's like, because it's a fucking video game. Who cares?
Yeah, and because other people exist in the world other than you.
Like right now, and I know again, we're not talking about the leaks, but the fact that I see so many people, and it's not even 100% shown that the one girl in Last of Us 2 is even trans, but since everybody assumes it is, now there's all this transphobia going around. It's like, guys, why does that matter? You would hate the character if the person wasn't trans. Why does the fucking gender matter?
So the one thing I'll say is I changed my viewpoint on it. Was when they, from what I see in the trailers, that Ellie is now a lesbian, but then I realized in the first game she was only like 8-10 years old.
Well, but even then, why would it matter?
But I realized there's no real discovery at that age. So at this point, she's probably discovered.
Well, let's even say that like there was a hint that maybe she liked boys in the first game, and people see that she's like kissing a girl. Oh, she's a lesbian. Maybe she's fucking bi. Like, what's the problem there? It's it's the company she keeps. Why does it matter?
It only matters when the story is not doing it to just tell a story, and they're instead trying to
make a statement,
to pander or something to a specific group of people or whatever.
Well, even if it's pandering, considering how rare it is to have lesbian relationships in video games, even if it's pandering, it should exist because we need to make that normal.
I just meant when they like ruin the story because they didn't make it normal. They
if a game comes out and the story's garbage because all they want to do is focus on like political correctness stuff, that's different. It sounds to me like The Last of Us, though, like it's still going to be a great game, although the story might be a little bit iffy on other points. But it seems like they put a hell of a lot of work into it, and just Ellie being essentially gay or maybe bi, but we don't know because again, who fucking knows? Like, just because she kisses a girl doesn't mean she's not open to the other. She just really likes this girl.
Yeah, and honestly, it seemed to, from what I've seen, because obviously the game's not out, it made sense. It seemed to fit the story. It seemed to fit the narrative. It seemed to fit the character. It seemed to fit everything. Like, it didn't feel like they were trying to...
It doesn't feel forced. No.
Yeah, they didn't try and force it. They were like, this is... And that's the point. The point is, like you said, Adam, make it normal. It should just be that when you play a game, there's multiple races, there's multiple sexualities, there's multiple genders, and we need to make it normal because it has been more one way for a long time.
Yeah, the reality is that we should never be aversing our gays just because a game comes out and the character's black, or the character's gay, or the character's a woman, or the character's like you know what I'm talking about. Like, it'd be one thing, like, look, if you're a white guy and all of a sudden, like, let's say the next 30 major games are all non-white characters, yeah, I'd be a little put off too. But it's never going to be like that. Especially when we have so, like, I think, what was that stat? I think in 2018, like, because Feminist Frequency did their thing where they showed off all the games that were at E3 that year and how many of them were, what the genders were. And I think it was like 60-something% of all the games let you customize. So even now, it doesn't even matter. Most games are going to let you be whatever you want. I mean, look at what Cyberpunk's doing. I can't wait to watch people get so mad because you can be trans in Cyberpunk. I can't wait to see people get mad at that.
Yeah, and it's a choice. It's your choice, and that's another good point because it lets people express who they are, or maybe who they want to be, or maybe who they're curious to be.
Yeah, if you're a gamer and you don't like more choices, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah, it's just
like I said, don't
for the point of it.
Don't change the icons. Don't change the.
Well, no, but I'm talking like if it's a blank slate. Give us as many options, there should never be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, don't make Mario a female or gay out of nowhere. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, like, it's with anything else. If the characters got time on them, I even think, like if they suddenly just said, oh, by the way, Joel is blonde now, I'd be like, why?
Yeah,
why?
Yeah, even just, like, hair color and stuff.
That would make
it
like
maybe he's having a midlife crisis.
Oh, yeah, if he died.
If Joel had a midlife crisis, he would be riding in on a Harley.
Yeah, or a Mustang.
Comes down in a Corvette.
Like a 90s Mustang.
Hey, Ollie. Like my...
You know what? We need Last of Us 2 Joel DLC where he's got a porn stash and rides a Corvette.
Hey, Ollie. Like my soul patch.
And the only thing that's ever blaring on his speakers is Bon Jovi.
Yep. It's his life, and it's now or never.
But especially...
He just wants to live forever.
Especially in these days, though, when so many games let you pick what you want. Like, it comes down to that thing, too, of like, okay, like, I get that. And then when there are games that they have a central figure, look at no further than Horizon, which I can't wait for both of you to actually play, even though Vish already owns it, and Chris is just waiting for it to go on PC.
I thought it was pretty great.
But I mean, like, once you get to the full... Aloy is one of the best female characters we've ever had, and it never would have happened if they'd not taken that chance. And it's crazy to say that taking a chance on a red-haired girl, that shouldn't be a chance, but it was a chance.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a tough guy who's going through and fighting. Like, it was a tough girl for once.
Not to mention, there's not even really any outfits in the game that's, like, sexualizing to her either. There's one outfit in the entire game that's got midriff, but again, no cleavage, no ass, nothing.
Yeah.
So in theory, that should have been the riskiest move of all. And it's still one of the best games on that console, and she is one of the best female characters we have in gaming right now, and I will fucking take that to the grave with me.
Aloy for Smash Brothers.
Well, what if PlayStation comes out at their conference and says, PlayStation Battle Royale coming back?
Oh, man, All-Star... What was that called?
Yeah, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
All-Star Battle Royale.
Yeah. That was fun. I actually really liked it.
It was fun, but it was definitely no Smash Brothers.
Well, no, it did not play as smoothly as Smash.
You got a hell of a hill to climb if you're catching Smash.
Yeah. But I mean, if they came with a new one, they could fucking make it work. They could fix the game.
Somebody coming out with a Smash-like game trying to beat Smash would be like a fucking Timbits hockey team trying to take out the top team that won the Stanley Cup that year in the NHL. Like, come on. You got a bit of a hill to climb.
Who knows what it's going to be this year?
Well, okay, the Timbits hockey team ain't playing either, so...
I love Timbits.
Who doesn't love Timbits? If you're Canadian and you don't like Timbits, you don't like nice things.
Yeah, this is true.
I just don't like Tim Hortons, though.
Yeah, but do you not like donuts?
Yeah, have you had a Timbit?
I like donuts. Don't get me wrong. I love donuts.
So you basically would like donut holes, which means you like Timbits. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother conversation.
You've had them. They're delicious.
Not to mention, just go get donut holes at Krispy Kreme. Then it's even better.
Yeah.
I was at Krispy Kreme today, but the lineup was too long.
Oh, as it should be. It's that fucking good.
Yes. But I'd rather have Beechwoods for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it seems like social distancing right now is probably the smarter thing to do than worry about donut intake.
I know.
Sure. Say that.
I know.
But donuts.
What's harder for Vish what's harder to control? Vish from getting Beechwood donuts or Chris from buying a PS4?
Here's the thing. The Beechwood donuts is not a convenient drive for me, so I can avoid that very easily.
Neither is the amount of money you have to spend on a PS4.
Yeah. The PS4 is literally... Chris lives next to a mall, and there's at least 4 stores that he can buy it from.
Yeah, but that's also money that's cutting into his PS5 fund.
Yeah. All right, here's the challenge. All right, here's the deal. We take it to see who will break first. Vishal, if you break first and you buy your donuts, you have to buy me a PS4. If I break first and buy a PS4, I have to buy you Beechwood donuts.
How about doing
that? Seems fair to me.
This seems fair. 2 against 1. It's on.
And I'll just sit here
donuts, you buy the PS4. If you buy the PS4, I buy the donuts.
No. You have to buy me a PS4.
I'm not buying you a PS4, dude. I'm sorry.
Fine, I'll just take yours.
There you go.
I'm gonna need it for at least 2 more years.
Okay, fine.
By then you'll have a PS4.
I was gonna say, by then I'll have his PS5, so who cares?
Yeah, I'll definitely have a PS5 by then.
But yeah, like, we obviously know what's going on out in the world right now. We know that it's a very tumultuous time. I mean, it's already bad enough that COVID was a thing, and this just got even worse. I think this also becomes such a bigger deal is because everybody's available now to protest, which makes it even worse. Yeah. I mean, this is an issue regardless.
Possibly better.
Yeah, it does, and I think this might actually be a time where we see proper change.
Yeah.
Now it may not be immediate, but I think we might have started laying down some real groundwork again.
No, it's like I mentioned, it's the biggest issue is the generational gap that is not being addressed.
And as Obama said in his speech yesterday, like the fact that so many young people are getting out there and making their voices heard because every major movement in our history is always started by youth.
Yes. Yes. It's the young people that will
Because they'll be the ones becoming politicians in the long run. They'll be the ones making the big voting when they're the major population. So,
Yep.
So, you know, it's such a crazy time, and it like I said, it's so much exacerbated because it's already been a bad enough year as it is. So, man, it's just on top of something. So, but when it really
what's fucking next?
But when it really comes down to it in a gaming aspect, it really is a simple thing of saying, what's the problem with letting everybody play? I don't care how old you are, although, to be fair, if you're 12, you shouldn't be playing an M-rated game. That's supposed to be the rules. Follow the rules.
Yeah.
It's the rules.
I don't want no squeakers in my Call of Duty lobbies that I don't actually play in, so who cares?
Yeah, also true.
I don't care how old you are. I don't care what gender you are, don't care what race you are, don't care what country you come from, don't care how your voice sounds, don't care what company you keep, don't care what religion you carry, don't care what things you like. If you like gaming and you want to play, go play. Because if you play, 2 more people will follow you. And if 2 more people follow them, and we keep getting more and more people, this becomes so widespread that no one can shut us down, and it means more options become available, more competition comes, which means shit gets even better. We get better consoles, better hardware, better games, better companies. When we have the ability to have more voices with more choices, it always gets better. It always gets better.
And when you play, treat every single other fucking gamer with respect. It's fine for the little bit of teasing and stuff going back and forth.
Yeah, shit talking's one thing.
Shit talking like fucking mini golf with you fuckers last night. Like that's okay. That's normal. But
Chris, I'm sorry, man. You're not allowed to shit talk after last night's game.
About mini golf. Not about mini golf. Never.
I mean, he shit a brick when he played, but that was about it.
Yeah, it was a big fucking brick. That game was.
But it's the thing. If you want to have a fun time shit talking, that's fine. But why would you ever treat somebody that you don't even fucking know so terribly?
Yeah. In fact, get to know them. Like, get to know more people in the community, like the gaming community. Like, make friends to play games with. Like Adam, you said, you didn't even have to join random lobbies and stuff for Destiny because you made friends along the way. I think that's what you said.
Well, there are also places you could go to. There are places out there, whether it's Reddit pages, whether it's all these external sites that just help you find people. We are in this age of the internet where it should be like, as a gamer in the late 80s, early 90s, when it really started to make that turn, it was really hard to find friends because it was still uncool. You would get beaten up for being a nerd. You would get beaten up for playing video games because it wasn't the thing to do.
Yeah. I know that.
We are in 2020. Where millions, if not over 1 billion people are playing games of some aspect. I think over 1 billion people are playing video games in some aspect, depending on what devices we're talking. But when we have an industry that has as many people playing, and there are still this many people who think that more people shouldn't be allowed in, is just disgusting.
Yeah.
Except for Vish, we shouldn't allow him into anything.
Don't worry, dude. It's purely based on your personality.
Because look, it's one thing if a person's an asshole. If a person's being a prick, then yeah, go be a prick to them back. They kind of deserve it. But if a woman just comes into a lobby and just talks, doesn't even do anything, and it suddenly becomes a endless barrage of girl, make me a sandwich. Why aren't you in the kitchen, bitch? Send me nudes. If we can just fucking stop. Because if this girl has a great time, more girls come in. And when more girls come in, us as gamers look a little more attractive. If we want to make this as like easily like sellable to these fucking assholes, if more women play this game, if more people of color play this game, if more gender neutral people play this game, people of different sexualities play this game, all of a sudden, the industry becomes so much more presentable, and us as gamers, we're not looked at as something weird or somebody that people should watch for, because maybe that person might be a little bit weird. Or like, again, you want your big titty goth girl so bad, internet? Fucking let them play games. You're going to get a lot closer to them that way, because you certainly aren't going to do that by harassing them on Instagram all day long.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So
You're
I mean,
not gonna you can't slide into their DMs.
no. I mean, you can, but you'll get banned or blocked, I should say.
Yeah, I guess blocked. Yeah.
It really all comes down, and to close it off, it really just comes down to one simple thing: gaming is supposed to be for everybody. Let's fucking make it that.
Yeah. 100%.
Anything else you guys want to add before we break it off?
No, I think that's actually a perfect way to end it.
Unfortunately, this situation's been like taking a little bit of an emotional toll on me that I prefer not to just get into it right now, just to like for my own sanity.
Yeah, it's not an easy time. I mean, obviously,
no.
I hate using this word, and you know that I'm serious when I'm actually saying this. I know that I have privilege. I fucking hate saying it, but I know I have it. Yeah. So it's my responsibility to be able to say that we need to fucking use it properly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I have the ability to walk into a lobby and not be harassed, unless I'm shit at the game, and that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But nobody's gonna touch because my voice is a certain way. No one's gonna touch me because of my gender. So the fact that we do it for other people just seems so asinine to me. Because if I can have an easy time, we should be making it so that everybody else feels the exact same way that I do, because that's how I got into this so deep that I have over the course of my life.
And the one thing that really just, I don't even know if I should mention it. It's just like when people are like, what about Oprah? What about Obama? Okay, you name two. And you know me, okay? I'm colorblind when it comes to friends, when it comes to people, when it comes to anything. But I will tell you one thing. Yeah, you can name Oprah and Obama. That's two. Name me any other ones. Name me 10.
And it's like people like, oh, you guys got Obama. I'm like, okay. Name me some white presidents. Every other
10.
one.
Yeah, every
you
other
can name
one.
at least 10 off the back of your hand.
Doesn't even matter what the number is.
10.
The correct answer is everything that's not Obama.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And
this is the thing. Is that a problem in our history? No, but we should respect what our history was and atone and learn from it. The idea is now moving forward that we accept the fact that any possibility is open.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it can't still be a white guy, because if the white guy is the right choice, it's still the right choice.
Let the person of who with the best credentials go in. I'm totally fine.
And if the best person happens to be a gay black woman, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if the game of the year,
I don't think
obviously we don't know what's coming out. Okay, let's not do the political game.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to go political.
But like, let's take it back to video games. 5 years from now, if you tell me, if future me comes back and says, by the way, game of the year in 2025 is going to be a trans Asian character, and I'd be like, cool. If the game is that amazing, cool. And if he comes back and says, oh, by the way, 2026, just regular white guy, my answer will still be the same. Fucking cool. Can't wait to play it.
Have you so I'll mention it. Have you heard of this game called a movie called Paranorman?
Yes, watched it.
Yeah, it was a really good movie, and at the end, it turned out one of the characters was gay, and you didn't even notice until the end. They just
because it's not always that obvious.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that relevant. It was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Like I said, it just comes down to the fact of like, it never should matter. Yeah. It never should.
And even I'll one last example I'll use is Onward. There was one character.
Oh, the new one, right?
Pardon?
The new movie, right?
Yeah, the Pixar movie. And there was one female character. She was a cameo character, but she's a well-known comedian, I believe. And her character mentioned her girlfriend, and it's like, oh, okay. It was like mentioning like any couple, and it was just like, okay, cool. It didn't fucking matter at the slightest.
Yeah.
So big fucking deal. Like, let the diversity happen. It doesn't change. Don't force it, but just fucking let it happen. Like life goes
and even,
on.
And the thing is
and
even if
a
it's
different
forced,
world.
it really won't matter much if the content's amazing. That's the other key thing too.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
it stands out if it happens in a game and the game is absolute garbage, then it stands out. That's the problem too. By the way, and this goes to people on the SJW side. If you want stuff in games, put those people's feet to the fire too, because if they make a shit game, it looks bad for you guys too. Let's also keep that in mind. But yeah, so to close it out, even though I said to close it out like 5,000 times already on the show, we all can agree.
Madden is phenomenal.
No, thank you for ruining that. The most important thing, obviously, right now, is that Black lives do indeed matter. But because we're the VCR Podcast, we're going to go one step further, because Black gamers matter. And let's keep that in mind as we move forward, because this industry can be so much better if we can just follow that.